Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. And obviously, gotta throw out a trigger warning here, because this stuff is horrifying. This is absolutely horrifying. In Aurora, which I believe is located in Colorado, the police, rather a terrorist organization known as the Police, decided to hold a family, of course a black family, at gunpoint, including a 6-year-old. Now, you're not gonna believe the reason. I've got two clips here, the initial source and then a news report. You will not believe the reason. So, without further ado, this is horrifying.
Hey, bud, if you're not involved, please step back.
Again, what they are doing this for, I'll just tell you the reason right now. There was a motorcycle reported stolen. A motorcycle. And so what they did was they pulled over a family in a minivan because a motorcycle was reported stolen. Now, obviously, this is something that, you just ask them, hey, what's going on? Oh, sorry, no, that's a mix-up, easy. But instead of doing that, they instill trauma and fear into little children. These children are old enough to remember this for the rest of their lives. I know when police first started harassing my family, and when police first started being rude to me, I remember this, even as far back as when I was 10 years old. Now, I wasn't beaten by police. I wasn't held at gunpoint by police. But police, I remember when my mother got pulled over, and we're white. That, of course, is critical understanding here. And cops were brutal to her, being extremely, touchy-feely, being rude and obnoxious unnecessarily. And that stuck with me. I can't imagine being 6 years old and having cops throw you into the asphalt holding you at gunpoint. That is a life-altering experience. Where are the good cops? Where is your sympathy? Where is your empathy? Where is your humanity? Do you see any human beings here? These are terrorists in blue. If this were any other situation where a bunch of gangster thugs held down a 6-year-old girl, and I believe the other is 14 maybe, I think they expand upon that in the news story. If any other person were to do this, I'll let you fill in the blank.
No!
Look at these people just scratching their heads. Oh, what do we do? How about you fucking let them go and treat them like normal human beings? Again. There are people in this country that think that police as an institution is a great thing. There are people in this country that think that, it's just a few bad apples. I'm sorry. It's the opposite. If there is a mythological good cop, which I don't believe there is personally. I think all cops are complicit in terrorism. But if there is a good cop, that is an exception and not the rule.
I get you guys off the ground.
Yes, I want to get off.
This is some bullshit. You have guns drawn on that kid.
Put that down on you to make sure you don't have any weapons. I'm not going to take you away from your child, okay?
Can y'all get my auntie's phone so I can call my aunt?
We're going to take care of that in a
So that's the source video. And there is a news report here. And again, I want you to be very, 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 very aware of how the news reports this. They don't use accurate descriptors like a terrorist gang pulls over a black family and holds a 6-year-old at gunpoint. They don't use that very obviously true methods of speech here. The media, especially cable media, anything owned by a corporation, is complicit in feeding the lie to the American people and people all across the country that cops are good guys. They are the architects. They run propaganda, the ministers of propaganda for fascism. I want you to be fully aware of the language that they use.
This morning was supposed to be a girls' trip to get nails done. But before this family got to an open salon, they were detained by Aurora police.
I saw a car next to me with...
Detained by? Not pulled over and held hostage at gunpoint by a terrorist gang. No. They were detained. Again, you need to understand this. This is a traumatic event that is altering, and this is the first of many, and it could not even be the first. But for a 6-year-old, maybe I hope that this is their first. Obviously, it's terrible what happened, but I hope that they didn't have something similar like this happen when they were younger, is my point. This is something that will alter a person for 80, 90, if we figure out anti-aging stuff, hundreds of years potentially. All right, this is something that will follow these children to their deathbed. I've been saying this, and I'm sorry for pausing the thing so much. I've been saying this. We are going to be reading articles in the year 2069 of people that have been brutalized by police in the year 2020 and before and after. Oh, I lost my eye in 2020 when I was just filming a protest as a journalist. Oh, when I was 6 years old, a cop held me at gunpoint and threatened to kill me because they accused us of stealing a motorcycle when we were in a minivan. We are going to be seeing these articles. We are going to be hearing these stories from people for the rest of our lives. And that is if we stop police violence in the year 2021, God willing. And of course that's not going to happen. Because unless we have a radical revolution, an international revolution, that will not happen. So this is a best case scenario, is that we are going to be reading these articles of people that have been brutalized since children by police for the rest of our lives. If you have like a 6-month-old listening to this video, the rest of their life, they will be reading news about people who were maimed, blinded, shot, and killed by police. Let that sink in. I know I'm repeating myself, but let it sink in. And the media is complicit. Detained? They were held hostage by terrorists at gunpoint. That would be accurate news reporting.
4 girls in it. Feet were up on the dash. It was real cute. And next thing I know, the police pull up silently behind them and had guns drawn on the children.
Jennifer Wirt started recording on her phone when the police handcuffed the kids and put them face down on the ground.
That's police brutality. I don't give a damn what nobody say. That's police
Brutality.
From right to left, the video shows a 12-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a
12?
6-year-old.
Oh, and a 6-year-old. Okay. There are a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 6-year-old at gunpoint. Again, if you watch this video and you want to go to the comments section and tell me how Law and Order and they deserved it, you are a psychopath. Plain and simple, full stop. But to anybody that has a conscience, to anyone that possesses empathy and compassion, you need to understand, police are not like us. They do not have sympathy, empathy, compassion, humanity. The basic traits that make us human. However, they will weaponize those traits at all costs. That is the fascist playbook. They will utilize the things that are as close to you as possible. Your desire for free speech, your desire for equal treatment under the law, your desire for a police brutality-free world. They will utilize and weaponize those desires to enact their agenda. That is why they sugarcoat this. Oh, they were detained. They were not detained. Terrorists held a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 14-year-old at gunpoint for an extended period of time. That is a headline. That is accurate and that is truthful. Everything else is sugarcoating.
She's screaming for her mother, and I'm trying to calm her down.
Police say they detained this family because they got a report of a stolen vehicle from the parking lot at East Iliff Ave and Buckley Road. But Brittany Gilliam's car wasn't what they should have been looking for.
He's like, something about the car being reported stolen. I was like, this happened months ago. You guys cleared it. We had to pick up the car the next day, the very next day. So I'm not understanding what's going on.
Brittany's car was stolen in February and found the next day. The vehicle that was actually reported stolen on Sunday morning was a motorcycle with Montana plates. It just happened to have the same license plate number as Brittany's Colorado plate.
There's no excuse why you didn't handle it a different type of way.
Aurora police say they are trained to do what's called a high-risk stop when contacting a stolen car. That means weapons are drawn and the people in the car are told to lie on the ground.
It's like they don't care. Who am I going to call when my life is in danger?
The family filed a complaint against...
That is a child. This is a child. This is a child. A 14-year-old child. Like, this is America.
When my life is in danger.
The family filed a complaint against Aurora police. They want protocol to change so this won't happen to other kids. In Aurora, Katie Eastman, 9 News.
Now, I want to flash back here. I want you to listen to this part, and I'll point it out afterward, but listen to this part.
There's no excuse why you didn't handle it a different type of way.
Aurora
Okay, this part.
police say they are trained to do what's called a high-risk stop when contacting...
Again.
Trained to do what's called a high... Say they are... Aurora police say they are trained to do... Aurora police say they are trained to do what...
They are trained to terrorize people. You'd think, oh, maybe they would train them to know the difference between Montana and Colorado? No, 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 no. They're not trained in knowing the difference between license plates. They're not trained in knowing the difference between states. They're not trained in knowing the difference between a minivan and a motorcycle. But they are trained to draw guns and hold children hostage at gunpoint. That is what they are trained to do. And you need to understand that. This is a war. This is what this is. There is a one-sided war. Police are an occupying terrorist organization. Occupying all across the world. This is not just a problem in America, though America, it is one of the most severe problems. But I beg you to look at Mexico, to look at Ukraine, to look at France, to look at many other countries. Police are problematic all across the world because they are the keepers of capitalist power and order. Without police, there would not be billionaires. Think about that. They are there to maximize damage to people and human life, and to minimize damage to rich people and property, and their property rather. They don't give a shit about small business owners. They don't give a fuck. But rich people specifically and rich people's property, that is their job. Thank you for watching. Please share this video, or if you want the source for this video, go to the description and you don't want to share my take on it. Though, I would prefer you do, because my message is extremely important. You need to understand that police are not your friends. They are terrorists. They are there to harm you at all costs. And again, let me play this again. This is what they are trained to do.
Aurora police say they are trained to do what's called a high-risk stop when
They're not trained to know the difference between Montana and Colorado, but they're trained to pull guns on children. That is a problem.